Well, welcome to yet another episode of the Camnet Breakfast Thursday edition, where we focus on governance and politics. With me, Patrick Soko. Later on, I'll be joined by my colleague and co-host Sharon Kalimbula, as we are going to run you through the program of the breakfast today. We have interesting guests on the program today, and we are making sure that we give you all the segments as required on the breakfast. Just now, we are going to go straight into our first segment we call Morning Boost, so that we can get flexing our muscles. Stay tuned.
It's a beautiful morning and I welcome you to Morning Boost. I'm so glad that you've tuned in and hope you had a great night. So let's do some workouts this morning and we're going to have a great time. So we're going to start with a warm-up and then make some aerobics movements for today. Okay, ready? Let's go. A beautiful morning to everybody and welcome to Morning Boost. Let's go. Go. And the V step now. Let's go. Last V step. Back to step touch. V step. Let's go. Let's go. And marching. And 4, 3, 2, step touch, go. Bring in your hands now. Let's go. Let's go. Just a quick workout in the morning. Not a full-fledged workout, no. Keep going. And 4, 3, 2, hamstring, go. Four, 3, 2, step touch. Four, 3, 2, and hamstring. And 4, 3, 2, step touch. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going, stay at it. Go. Easy basic workouts for the morning. And marching. Skip jump now, go. Let's go, skip. Try this. Even if you feel heavy in your body, you can do this. Let's go. There's always a first time. You may struggle, but it's doable. Let's go. And 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Change now. Let's go. Very easy for a morning workout. Lift your knee very high. Go. Let's go. Stay at it. Stay at it. We're going to bring in a kick now from a knee high to a kick. Go. Go. Let's go. Let there be a blood circulation on your legs so that you don't have that numbness you feel at times. Kick. 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 Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Straight kicks now. Go. Straight kicks. Go in the sides. Okay. Keep going. Almost done with our 5 minutes workout. Knee high. Try this every morning. It's going to do wonders to your body. Let's go. We're almost there. All right, team. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is Isaac Matza, your presenter. I'm going to see you next time at the same time. And have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
Well, interesting, quite interesting exercise today. There you have it. I hope you managed to follow through what Isaac Matza was doing right there. You can also do it at your free time. You don't have to wait for the breakfast to just get a breast. Remember, we also stream the program live on our Facebook page. You can be sure to just follow the proceedings as well at your own time and be able to follow how we do things. Just now, we're going to go into another interesting segment we call Health Corner, where we'll be discussing another pertinent issue pertaining to oral ulcer with Dr. Mukandila. We're just going to go straight into that clip. We'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Morning everyone, this is Dr. Mukandila talking to you. I'm here to present to you another interesting topic that we usually ignore, and that is oral ulcers or oral sores, or the sores that we find in the mouth. But previously on our topic, I explained to you and I emphasized on awareness of expectant mothers, when exactly they're supposed to see the dentist and so on. As I emphasize that even pregnant women can also have access to oral hygiene, which is very important. So for today, I want to talk to you about oral ulcers or mouth sores, as literally that's what patients come and they'll tell you. Usually mouth sores or oral ulcers, they usually happen maybe due to some chemical substance that you've used. For example, if you've used maybe a strong mouthwash, you did not dilute it, usually that chemical can really burn your soft mucosa. They can create some small sores in your mouth. Sometimes it can be due to some irritation. Like for example, if you are from eating something, it can be fish, bone or anything, you accidentally bite on it, you can have a sore or an ulcer kind of like. You only get worried if you find that the ulcer that you have in your mouth has taken more than 2 to 3 months and up. It has not healed. Then you get really worried. Because normally if you have a sore in the mouth or you have an ulcer in the mouth, within just weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, it's supposed to disappear actually. So what normally causes that is some chemicals we are using. For example, like I've mentioned, some strong chemicals like some mouthwash, without you diluting it, it will definitely burn your soft tissues there. And for example, when we bite yourself, there are some other people, they bite themselves. You are seated, you're just biting. but you find that you are creating sores inside your mouth or in your soft mucosa there, you're creating sores. So what we normally tell patients is that when we have such cases, we'll definitely treat it for you, but meaning that those other small habits which one's not supposed to do, supposed to come to an end, like you're supposed to stop. Like for example, when you are just biting, sometimes you sit and you start biting. Those are some of the things that need to be controlled. But you find that some other ulcers, they can stay for a very long time in the mouth. If it stays for more than months, you need to get worried. You need to seek help out there. It means that it's no longer going to be a sore, it's turning into something bigger. It can turn into a bigger disease. I know with people out there, they still have phobia that I'll go to the dentist, but I'm scared. Or in rural communities, you hear people say, no, I was thrown something, that's why I have this. But us who believe in science, we believe these things are caused by certain object or certain substance or certain chemicals that we took, or accidentally when you're eating, you bite on yourself, you end up having a sore. So how do you treat it? We normally emphasize to our patient that you can use a mouth, if you want, you can use your mouthwash, but you need to reduce that concentration level, meaning that you need to dilute it in a glass of water, because some mouthwash has got a very strong concentration of alcohol in it. So you need to dilute it in water and then you can rinse it in your mouth. We do also give out prescription of some treatment like some Quadragel. Those are just topical cream that you can apply, and they're friendly in the mouth. They'll not cause any harm. They're actually very friendly. They've got a flavorable taste. It will not bring any harm. Apart from that, if we notice that that ulcer has become more, it's no longer small or anything, we can prescribe some antibiotics. But normally we emphasize to our patient that there are certain things you can avoid to have those ulcers. Usually, if you avoid these things that I've mentioned, if you're using your mouthwash, dilute it. If you are eating or you like biting yourself when you're seated, you're doing nothing, you need to stop those things, because if you do not stop, you'll be making the ulcer or the sore in the mouth to get worse. So in short, what I want to say is that whatever we do in our own time or our oral hygiene, it's important to remember these little things. I know we usually forget, but it's usually important that one remember that if I've got an ulcer, let me go and reach out for help. Let me visit a clinic. I'll be told what to do. Let us not self-medicate, because we find people medicating themselves. They use different kind of chemicals. Others use even soda. Others use even acid from the battery. There are so many chemicals our communities out there or the population out there are using, which is wrong for your gums or for your teeth. You find someone has got ulcers, but they use soda to apply. Nothing happened. Others, they use even Colgate paste, they apply. But instead of the healing process to taking place, nothing is happening. You find that the ulcer is increasing and increasing in size. So I'll emphasize that patients get to be aware of all these things. Let them visit any nearest clinic. Let them be given a proper advice on how to take care of their wound. If you've got sores in the mouth, visit any nearest clinic. You'll be given the correct treatment on how to treat that sore in the mouth. As I conclude, I'll emphasize that everybody out there should know when exactly to visit a dentist, when exactly to treat their teeth, and please, I'm emphasizing that people should not be doing self-treatment. That's why we are here to help you. We don't want people to do self-treatment of using things like batteries, soda, using charcoal. There's so many chemicals people are using out there for self-treatment of teeth. But I'm here to emphasize that we can always change. We can always visit our facilities, and the correct treatment will be given to you. Correct method of your health hygiene will be given unto you. As I conclude, I would say that we can all take care of our sores. If you do not have mouthwash, you can use warm, salty water. It actually helps as well. You can just rinse 2-3 times. Within a week or so, your sore will finish. But if your sore takes long, it means it's something else. It's no longer just any ulcer. It can be a serious disease you're having. I will leave a word of encouragement that as we are celebrating our Oral Health Day, I encourage everyone, whether young, adult, elderly, to visit any nearest facility and get the correct treatment.
There you have it. Once again, the doctors have never ever failed us from the time that they started giving us these segments on health. And today they were talking about oral ulcers. I don't know why. I failed to say ulcers.
Yeah.
And oral. I don't know where I get the H from.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm from the South, Queen of the South. But anyways, Patrick, oral health.
Yeah, yeah. I
This
think
week,
important
yes.
discussion there. She brought out a number of issues, and that reminds me of some of our colleagues who use acid to treat their teeth.
But who does
You
that?
know.
Acid, doesn't acid melt?
Yeah.
Melt things?
Yeah.
Wanting to kill at Mumuri to door. You know this.
You know that kind of self-prescription in these neighborhoods we have, Sharon.
Yeah.
No, mufakepo chape to soda, mukafakepo to soda or to chlorine. And that's why the other time I saw Elijah with a very huge face, and I was like, what kind of
arrangement is this?
And only to discover he was using acid, battery acid for that.
Acid. Let me even add on to those myths.
Yes, that was the idea, that the tooth
should melt.
Yes, then so that you can have some relief after that is done.
But then they forget that the tooth actually has roots, and you know those roots can also cause a lot of havoc in your life, generally.
Yeah, so I think that's a good topic, Sharon. I think we need to take care of our month. And she also pointed out that there's some mouthwashes which are not conducive. They need to be diluted before you can use them. So sometimes you just go in a chemistry, you buy yourself a mouthwash. The next thing you're doing, you are just inhaling.
And usually these people that sell mouthwash, there's no prescription.
Yeah, that's a problem again.
They don't advise how you can use it. They just sell it to you, and how you use it is your own business.
Exactly, and that has tended to have provided some problems, because we also don't know. You're just thinking that this is a solution,
exactly,
and the solution turns up to be another problem that you need to also resolve. Well, just now we are going to go straight into another interesting segment where we get to understand how the kwacha is performing against other major convertible currencies. Just now, $1 is buying at 17 kwacha 62
ngwe and selling at 17 kwacha 96 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 23 kwacha 25 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 69 ngwe. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha 19 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 21 ngwe, while the Euro is buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 26 ngwe. Those are your money markets as of 24th of March 2022. Patrick, you failed to mention the figures.
So, but you just took over. I was wondering, Are you trying to personalize the segment?
No, I tried to give it to you, but you were like, I don't know if the figures were exciting you.
I was just wondering.
I don't know if the figures were exciting you or
that
what.
Reminds me that reminds me of Miriam Kaimba. You would not allow me to finish my thought. And we're just getting, as if we're getting those dollars. You can't imagine yourself having the pound. You can convert your small purchase. Well, just now we're going to zoom in one of the stories, and that to bring us the right time to our first guest on the program, who is coming from the National Empowerment Forum, and this is the Executive Director, Mr. Edgar Siakachoma, to help us discuss various issues pertaining to the construction sector. Just now we'll zoom in the story pertaining to Amos Chanda, who has been put to his defense in a case where he's accused of insulting law enforcement wings. In this case, the Anti-Corruption Commission, he has been found with a case to answer. He's been jointly charged with his wife and the sister-in-law. So yeah, it will be an interesting story, and we will continue to follow it to the latter until it reaches its logical conclusion. Isaac, help us look at the story once again.
Together with his wife and sister-in-law, Amos Chanda, the former State House press aide, will have to defend himself before the courts of law and prove against the allegations that the state accuses them of, following a ruling delivered by a Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Wednesday morning, which saw them being put on their defense. Mr. Chanda, his wife Mebo Chanda, and sister-in-law Ruth Nakaundi have been found with a case to answer in a matter they are accused of using, insulting, and obstructing Anti-Corruption Commission officers during the time the officers had gone to conduct a search at one of his properties. The trio, who appeared before Magistrate Dominic Makalicha, were straight away placed on their defense with the court, stating that the prosecution had established a prima facie case against them. The court has also established that the prosecution has proved some of the important ingredients of the offenses of obstructing the SEC officers, a conduct which had potential to break public peace, and that the alleged conduct by Mr. Chanda of obstructing the officers from executing their duties resulted in the delay of the searches the officers were conducting. Magistrate Makalicha has also established that the alleged words by Mr. Chanda against the officers to call them criminals, idiots, that in itself was an insult. The allegations in this matter in the first count are that on the 27th of October 2021, Mr. Chanda used insulting language to Fred Tembo, a senior investigative officer, William Chilufya, and Christopher Siwakwi, in due execution of their duty, to which he is alleged to have called them idiots and criminals, while his wife and sister-in-law allegedly called the officers monkeys. The matter has, however, been adjourned to the 25th of April 2022 for their defense. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. Drama at Parliament has continued to unfold, with Wednesday afternoon the 5 opposition Patriotic Front members of Parliament, who were yesterday allowed to return back to the House following the ruling by the Constitutional Court, have experienced another suspension. Just a day after them returning to Parliament, Kabushi Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo, Kwacha Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji, and Lunte Member of Parliament Mutote Kafuaya, and Luwasenshi Member of Parliament Daulo Chewe have been made to join the 30 members of Parliament who were last week suspended. The 5 are among the MPs that participated in the protest in the chamber last year, thereby breaching the parliamentary privilege in accordance with Section 28 of the Powers and Privileges Act. They were excluded from the 30 who were on Tuesday suspended, as they were not in Parliament amid their elections appeals. The suspended members of Parliament will not receive any salary or allowances for a period of their suspension.
In accordance with Section 28, number 2 of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, which requires the resolution of the House to suspend a member from the House. The question is that the House suspends the 5 Patriotic Front members of Parliament that participated in the protest in the chamber for a period of 30 days from today, Wednesday, 23rd March, to Thursday, 21st April, 2022.
As if this was not enough, another ruling was made seeing Lumezi, Member of Parliament, Monia Zulu, make his apology to what was described as him giving false allegations against local government minister Gary Nkombo.
On KBN television, that the minister had said that Eastern Province had received 1,909 kilometers of feeder roads was at variance with the Honorable Minister's statement on the floor of the House, that the government had entered into contracts of 1,909 kilometers for Eastern Province. The committee thus found Mr. M. Zulu MP's statement on KBN television and that Honorable Gigi Nkombo MP had lied on the floor of the House was untrue. The committee further found that Mr. M. Zulu MP's continued reference during the interview to Honorable Gigi Nkombo MP as having lied to the House had the potential to irreparable damage.
Do unreservedly apologize to you, Madam Speaker, and to this august House for the remarks made on KBN television against Honorable Gigi Nkombo.
The finance minister also gave his ministerial statement.
Must also infuse into the plan the measures required to realize the promises made to the voters. This is what we are doing. Madam Speaker, I will now provide the status on the formulation of the 8th National Development Plan. The development of the 8th NDP has reached an advanced stage with a draft now in place. The draft is based on the strategic policy direction.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Welcome back. Interesting stories there from Parliament and as well as the court grounds. The story involving Amos Chanda and the story involving some drama in the House where some other members of Parliament joined the others who have been suspended already for abrogating parliamentary proceedings or parliamentary rules there. Just now it's the right time. We have been joined by our guest on the program, and this is Mr. Edgar Siakachoma. He's the Executive Director for National Empowerment Forum. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers, and thanks for having me. But maybe just to correct you.
Yes.
I've taken leave from the National Empowerment Forum.
Oh.
He's on the other side. So I've been wondering. Okay, people with so many positions, because I equally got confused. So yes, he's with the
Actually, it's my fault. I should have announced publicly.
Oh, you went indirect.
I'm now the president for the National Association for Medium and Small Scale Contractors.
Oh, that one. Okay, interesting. That the organization has been existing for a while. Is it the one where Mr. Mtaden also belongs to?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, we'll be talking about construction matters and the construction sector, especially pertaining to the small-scale contractors in the country and their plight. And Mr. Siakachoma will help us deal with this matter because he has been in this industry for a long time and pursuing this agenda to ensure that local contractors benefit. And we are going to just go straight into our first question to ask, how has been the plight of small-scale contractors addressed by past administrations, and how would you want to be done different?
Well, I think for the past decade or so, the medium and small-scale contractors have really had a road due from government, mostly because government has not been so confident that medium and small-scale contractors would perform. And there are a lot of reasons for that. So maybe to answer you, I think they've had a road due in the past.
What constitutes a small and medium contractors? Maybe just for the viewer out there, because
Qualifies
yes.
in that.
The sector is regulated by the National Council for Construction, and to answer your question, there are categories and grades. So the grades are based on the thresholds as well as the capacities that the contractors are able to carry. For example, when I say thresholds, if we are to talk, say in the category of roads, so we have grades from grade 1 or grade 6 going upwards to grade 1. So the lowest is grade 6. And so when you talk of medium and small scale, you're largely talking about grade 4, 5, and 6. That's where actually most, if not all, it mostly consists of the local contractors. Yeah, so it's grade 4, 5, and 6. So in terms of thresholds, for example, in the road sector,
Yes.
These categories range from somewhere 4 million, contracts worth 4 million to about 20 million in the road sector. In terms of thresholds, for example, a grade 5 would say they will do anything from, in terms of turnover, 4 million to about 10 million per annum. So that's how they are classified. It's from thresholds as well as turnover.
What is the first grade?
The biggest grade?
Yes.
Is grade 1. And there it's mostly, we have a few Zambians, but it's mostly foreigners.
Why
yeah,
is
so
that?
It's from 55 million going up for the category of buildings. Roads is about 60 million going upwards.
Why is that? We don't have the capacity? Is it the equipment or is it the resources?
Well, yeah, it's mostly one, perception, two, also it's the capacity, financial capacity. Our banks have not supported locals for a long time. So we have these foreigners who are supported by their countries, wherever they come from. And so their banks, their governments are able to give them finance to scale them to that
Threshold.
Threshold, yes.
We also had an important policy, though you have argued, especially as small and medium scale contractors, where you were given 20% preference in terms of all contracts. Is that adequate, or we need to ensure that that is increased?
Well, it's not adequate, but whether it should be increased or not, it shouldn't be an issue now, because even the 20% hasn't been handled well or appropriately the way we expected it to be handled. So you can talk of, if, for example, for a contract of $300 million, 20% would be what, about 60 million. So if that 20%, this 20%, which is $60 million, was properly given to local contractors, would have seen a bit of activity in the economy. Would have seen, but so it was mishandled, and I can safely say that due to corruption, most of the 20% would go in wrong hands. There are people who would get that 20% share on paper. In the meantime, they are not on the ground working, so they will just get a kickback. In the meantime, the paperwork will be showing that it was given to the contractors. So there's been a lot of, firstly, renting, where you rent a company, you rent it. Instead of giving them work worth $1 million, you give them $100,000 and they go. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So on paper it will be showing that there's this company subcontracted. When you go on the ground, it's the Chinese or the Indian doing all the works. In the meantime, they've paid out something.
Just to use the name that they gave you the business.
So there hasn't been real, even within that 20%, there hasn't been real empowerment, if you like. So it's not an issue of just changing the figures to say, can we move it to 80, when in the actual sense we haven't even done 10% or 5% of what should have been done.
Well, in case you're just joining us, we are in conversation with Mr. Edgar Siakachoma. We're talking almost all things construction in the small and medium construction sector. Now, Mr. Siakachoma, there have been these revelations that some companies would probably register within a week and they get the business, while you people who have been there for a very long time fail to get the business. Could that be the case of renting out these companies?
Yes and no. Some have been given certificates, yes, within the period you're talking about. There are rumors also that some certificates would be issued at night. You know, instructions given, people run around, and the next day someone has a tender. I wouldn't call that renting, but I think it was appropriate because we have a system. The NCC has a system of giving out these tenders. They have to check, for example, from grade 1 to grade 5. There's a lot of scrutiny or scrutinization to be done. So you find that it takes you can't scrutinize, you can't check the premises of your, if you like, you call them the client, the applicant. Yes. Within 1 minute or 30 minutes or you can do it maybe in a day. Then you have to check the equipment, and because really for those that are alleged, most of them were not getting certificates in grade 6 or grade 5, where the conditions are a bit relaxed. You'd find they're getting certification in grade 2, grade 1, grade 3, where there's serious scrutiny. And I think most of these things are now in court, so we will just talk in principle, generally. Yeah. So you'll find that if you were to compare, to look at the requirements and also the processes that these people went through to get those tenders, they are not at par. So there was seriously something wrong, and there could have been some powers, propelling or intimidating the NCC to do wrong things. So I think that's water under the bridge, and we have confidence in the NCC. So far we feel they're doing a good job, because a lot of reforms are being, and also there's a new act now, and the 2020 act of the NCC. So a lot of things have been changed, and we can safely say that with the NCC we're in safe hands.
I know you've expressed hope that things might change for the better, but then with the construction sector actually is on record, especially the small and medium, on having political interference. Almost all those that have these construction companies are politically exposed. Would you say the industry is polarized or doesn't really have the correct loopholes to be sealed? How do you operate? Do you operate in a vacuum? Do you have laws that govern you? Why do we have so much infiltration of persons that are politically exposed?
In the first place, most of the jobs that contractors do from government. The government is run by politicians, and they are human beings. So without a tight setting your eyes on them from watchdogs like the media, ACC, including the leadership, I'm happy that the president now is always talking about giving equal opportunities to all Zambians, and the fight against corruption. I'm I'm seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. I think things will change. But we are all human beings, and if things are let loose, of course, politicians, because they are the ones that drive the sector in terms of the treasury and the works, it's easy for them to abuse the system. So I think, one, we need a proper mindset. Two, we need a strong leadership that will fight corruption aggressively, like we are seeing at the moment. We just hope that there's more action than talk. Then we'll be getting somewhere.
Now, Mr. Siakachum, I would be tempted to ask, because you might find that your members would be fighting for a tender which the minister is also bidding for with his company. What are the chances of your member getting that contract, and how can we minimize such incidents?
I think we have to be alert. I don't know of any code of conduct for the ministers that forbids them from bidding, but I would encourage our members to be, even as they tender, to be thorough, professional, to be good at even doing just a tender document, so that when we sense that some undue influence had been used, we can successfully follow up and rescue that tender from the jaws of a political heavyweight. So I think we should just up our game. We are Zambians, they are Zambians, the ministers are Zambians. If we can demonstrate that they were advantaged to disadvantage us or our members, then we can pursue it. And we know that the powers that be now can deal with that. Can deal with that.
Interesting. But now that brings me to another question, which are some of the major challenges you face, especially as medium and small scale contractors.
Like I said, our jobs are mostly our clients are government, most of them, and I think you know that payments are erratic.
I was going to that.
Especially the past few years, payments have been very erratic, and even because of the lack of jobs, our members have been promised, no, just go on site even before an advance payment. We'll pay you in due course and all that. So you find they borrow, even using Kalova, using their property as collateral. So all those challenges when government defaults, our members have really been, they've suffered loss, and most of them have gone under. Because imagine we have contractors who would have worked for maybe 20 years to acquire this house, and then they retire, so they get something and they decide to invest it in construction. So, and then they pledge the house as collateral, then government doesn't pay. So those are the challenges. Apart from that, I think, like you mentioned earlier, there came, I don't know if my viewers will understand. I want them to distinguish. When I say a cadre, there came a group of contractors in the past few years, who were just dealers, if you like, just because they had uncles in government or brothers or sisters or whatever. They stopped what their normal business would have been, for example, trading, and just jumped on the bandwagon because of the infrastructural developments that were in the past 10 years or so. So those people came with a different approach to construction. So the challenges came, and because they didn't know what they were doing, they thought construction is like
selling tomato at the market.
Yes, or merchandise. Right? So the real people in the sector couldn't, because one, the tenders were, of course, on the, through patronage, political patronage. So they stayed back. Some of them even went under because that's the only art they knew. That's the only business they knew. So all those have been challenges. But we need to sanitize the sector. And we believe that all things being equal, the sector will be sanitized. We just pray that our economy will quickly get back on track, and then construction or projects start again being rolled out.
A few days ago, Mr. Sakachoma, you and your colleagues held a press briefing where you complained to say government is taking long insofar as the issuance of certificates is concerned, basically sanitizing the sector. It's taken like 6 months. Nothing is issuing of contracts. Yes, nothing forth has come forward. Maybe just to re-echo on that fact that you feel they're taking long and taking away your bread.
Yeah, you see, we have. I'll give you the sector of routine maintenance. I think a year ago, adverts were run. Our members did it, and I think evaluations have been done. So if you look at a year ago, meaning those contracts, because those are routine maintenance contracts, may have expired even 7 months ago and all that. Now, and people did bid, evaluations have been done, but there are no awards. So how do you expect a businessman who relies just on that to live? They have employees, and mostly youths and women. So how are those families living? Because there's no work now for them, and there's no certainty that they will continue working. You may wish to know that these routine maintenance jobs are the ones that keep a lot of families in these rural areas, because it's from those earnings that they even pay for FISI, this fertilizer. Yes, they pay for their school uniforms, and even just the running of their households. So if you allow people to be redundant for a year, I think it's very unfair, and we saw it fit that we asked government to up there again and decide if they are cancelling these contracts, or if they are cancelling them, let them cancel and advertise. Because while we are waiting for these contracts to be awarded, vegetation is not
waiting.
It's not waiting. Look at accidents. Potholes are not waiting. So I think it's for us. It was a fair call. We were not malicious at all. We're just basically saving the people of Zambia.
The construction sector, especially the small and medium, which we are focusing our discussion on, has been accused on many occasions of failing to deliver according to expectations. Do you go beyond your grades, or even within your grades as contractors, you fail? Why do you fail to deliver?
A contractor is just a facilitator. There's a client on one side. The client is supposed to ensure that the contract manages. So the client engages also a supervisor or a consultant, if you like. Yes. So when a contractor on the ground seemingly fails, there's a lot of factors. One, it could be that they haven't been funded. That's one, because the contractor is not supposed to fund the project. The contractor idea is only supposed to fund, bridging, to look for bridging funds if they are waiting for a payment and then there's this unforeseen circumstance, then they can borrow and, but quickly they should be paid within stipulated periods, but that doesn't happen. So the onlookers will just be looking at the contract. They don't know what's in the contract. For example, if the contract says I'm supposed to be paid within 28 days of claiming or 2 months of claiming, and then I'm not paid for 2 years, how do you expect me to perform? But you won't go to the details of the contract as an onlooker to check why I'm failing. You just say, this one has failed. So really, it's a combination of things, and also the contractor doesn't work alone. When is the consultant when the contractor is failing? If it's an issue of shortage jobs. So when the consultant checks and they find that the contractor hasn't been paid, hasn't been facilitated, it won't be the contractor's problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on from the failing part, how do you deal with people that have supposedly failed? I know there are people that genuinely fail,
yes,
probably due to non-availability of resources, but others disappear into thin air once they are given the resources.
And there's a perception, Mr. Siakachoma, that some of your members, for instance, you are given a down payment, you go and buy this luxurious vehicle. That's the narrative
the 4x4
officials would put up.
The V8.
As opposed to going to the ground and start the work, you start trying to
live luxuriously.
And that tends to affect your members. That's a perception
I can assure you that not every small and medium small scale contractor is our member.
But your members.
So our members. I don't have any record of one was failed.
Do you have stipulated guidelines in an event such a thing happens?
Yes. You see, we encourage our members to perform, because part of our work is to lobby for them to be considered for jobs. So, and also to do a lot of training with NCC so that they up their skills. So we are concerned when we hear about such things, but the attitude of the contractors that you see fail emanates from the fact that they are not real contractors, because real contractors want going concern for their companies to be perpetual, to be going concerns, to be there for forever. So they won't misbehave. But those who come just to make a quick buck, they come like the speculators. Those are unfortunately they have to be called contractors because they have this NCC certificate and they've got this job and they are working. So the real contractors want their businesses to go on, and they won't fail unless there are circumstances beyond their,
Okay, that's quite interesting now, but we also want to understand that we have now the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, which has come with various opportunities. And part of the requirements, according to the President's pronouncement, which we take as policy, is that contractors have to be sourced within the localities and make sure that they provide the service within. For instance, if it is a Mandevu constituency, someone from Mandevu constituency should do the job. Now, I want to understand, how are you positioning yourself to ensure that your members have a presence across the country to be able to deliver according to expectations, to avoid the tendency where government again changes the pronouncement because we cannot find some contractors in some localities? We end up sourcing those foreign contractors to take up the job which can be done by Zambians.
I think I followed the president on that, and he put a caveat. He said, firstly, you look from within.
Yes.
Okay? If there's no one from the constituency, you go to the district. There's no one in the district, you go to the province. No one in the province, then you go nationally. I don't expect foreigners, because foreigners are these from outside the country, to get those jobs. I think also the rationale is that if you get a contractor locally, they will do a better job because their mobilization cost will be lower, and government also will save money. It will be easier for them to mobilize than for the CDF. You get in Lusaka, for example, you get someone from Livingston. And that's the threshold is around 2 million. I think that's the maximum 2 million contract. So how do they mobilize in the first place? The cost and all that. So I think that's where they are. But government money won't wait. If there's no contractor here, someone else should come and do the job. So in terms of preparing our people, we, as NAMSEC, we are National Association for Medium and Small Scale Contractors. We are all over the country. And we have provincial chapters. And now we also have district chapters. And councils in those districts. So we are encouraging councils to sensitize the contractors in those. Yes, to tell them about the importance of training, the importance of being prudent, the importance of paying attention to detail when they are doing their job. So we are working with the local Ministry of Local Government to ensure that this whole pronouncement by the President is followed through and it benefits the local people. Imagine if that whole 25 million is spent within a constituency. Because if you give a contract to a person that lives in that constituency, you can rest assured that the money will be spent there. And the economy of that constituency, will grow. Because now there will be, those groceries will boom. The pharmacies, everyone around, just the economic activity will increase, and that's what government wants to see.
Interesting stuff there on the CDF. So now I wanted to pick you on the aspect of you mentioned that there's at district level, but how is your membership as an association across the country? You just teach at, you are in every district, or you are also going to decentralize to constituency level? And the total membership in terms of your members just alone as an association?
Well, we call, members can be called contractors in those, but when you talk of our members, we talk about paid-up members. Okay, so some are still paid, and I don't know whether we should call those members.
Okay.
But yes, but what I can assure you is that no constituency will go without a contractor. Look at this scenario.
Because I think ultimately
I want to show you the boundary, for example, the boundary between Lusaka, Chongwe.
Lusaka, Chongwe.
What constituency is this one? It's Munari. Okay? It goes, I think, up to Mika Convention. So, if you were to get a contractor from, say, Charleston to do work at the next school, okay, in Chongwe, it will be cheaper for both government and even the contractor than to get a contractor who's at the border with Rufunsa, Chongwe and Rufunsa. You know what I mean? So when the president puts some of these things, I think we should also just put them in perspective. Because if we are going to cut costs, it doesn't hurt for a Zambian contractor who resides in Charleston to do a school in Madido. Is it this Obama? Because yes. Obama is Chongwe.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's what we want to prepare our members with. They should know that it's mostly about cost saving. We shouldn't discriminate against a contractor from next door. For example, there will be this road from here to Lusaka, to Ndola.
Yes.
Already there are people saying, there are Southerners who are saying, no, all the jobs in Southern Province should be kept to Southerners. Or then there are Northerners who are saying, all the jobs or Eastern Province should be kept within the province. So when this contract starts, are we going, us in Lusaka, are we going to say our members from Eastern or Southern or whatever shouldn't work on this contract? No. So it's the president, the context. Sorry, I got back to that because there's a lot of misunderstanding in the sector. Yeah,
has been misunderstood.
Yes, so we have to look at the context, and every Zambian will benefit from every contract as long as they bid properly at the right price, right quality, and also the time for execution should be reasonable. Very important there, Mr. Sakachoma. As we conclude this interview, we just want you to highlight some of the things that you feel are really, really important and need to be known to either your members, the authority, and basically we're echoing on the issue of CDF. I think it's very important that you actually mention that it's not only those that are within a certain radius that will work within that area. Yeah. People can still come from other constituencies to do jobs in respective constituencies. Yes. If you look at some constituencies, there are no contractors as we speak, but money will be dispersed. Government money shouldn't wait, because the pace at which, you see, we are just starting, and people have to be trained before they can become contractors. It's a requirement even at NCC. You have to attend training before you can get a certificate. So money shouldn't wait. If you don't have at that locality, get to the next person. Just open it up so that development is not stalled. That's the first point. Second point is there's a lot of money that will be channeled out, and it won't help Zambia or the government to get contractors who are half-baked, because now the costs, you know, for example, when you're building and you're not building to the correct standard, then you keep breaking and building, it's the government, the client, who's going to lose. They will lose on time, they will lose on material. So we want to urge our members to up their skills, get the training, so that when that chance of working comes, when government disperses, let them be ready, because luck favors the prepared. If you don't prepare, that money will come and you will miss it. Yes,
it's interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Sakachoma, for gracing our screens. We are happy that you could find time to be with us this morning.
Pleasures, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, in case you're just joining us, we've been talking to the National Association for Medium and Small Scale Contractors President, Mr. Edgar Sakachoma, has been helping us to discuss various issues pertaining to the construction sector and the plight of small and medium scale contractors. Well, he has assured us that they are ready to do the jobs and that they don't expect any shoddy works, as those are just amounting to allegations, Sharon, there. As you were saying that they tend to go to luxurious vehicles.
To Dubai.
To Dubai. But yes, Mr. Sakachoma assured us that they are members of a code of conduct. They fall in terms of ensuring how they should carry out their works to ensure that they conform to the guidelines of each specific contract. Just now we'll take a short break. We'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Dora Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Interesting stuff there. Yeah,
Yes,
being glanced with a smile from Sharon Karimbola. Well, oof, I'm still amazing you.
Yes, you are amazing me. But anyways, on set we are joined by Mr. Chris Chinda, well known, not new to the screen, and we are discussing various issues pertaining to what is happening in the country. He's been around actually, and has been a community activist in Munali constituency and was aspiring at some point to be a member of parliament, and we haven't had any conversations prior, after that, but he's back and hitting the ground hard as usual. And we're glad to have you, Mr. Chinda.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning, thanks.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And good morning to the people that are watching us.
Well, interesting to just get us started, Mr. Chinda. We all know you for Munari constituency.
Yes.
A seat you were vying for prior to the August 12th general election. We just want to get your perspective. How have you been? How are you moving forward then? We didn't see you on the ballot and people were concerned to say, what is happening? And it also brought out a different twist to the election in Munali, Sharon.
I hear the Munalians were even protesting.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Prior to 2021 general elections, August 2021, of course, we reached out to a lot of people, and people were expectant that to be on the ballot. But I'm still a firm believer of loyalty, and also I believe, supported by the Bible, that there's time for everything. So when the adoptions came and my name was not there, I sat down and reflected, and I thought maybe it was not my time. But of course, a lot of our followers, a lot of people that love me, they got disappointed, and some of them, of course, they protested. I can only apologize to them, but I want to assure them that I'm still around, and that 2026, whether party or no party, I'll be on the ballot.
Interesting. Whether party or no party, people also expected you to be on the to stand contest as an independent, but you didn't do that. Why did you opt to contest?
You see, I think Lusaka is a bit different to the Copper Belt. Sometimes, like that particular day, I was overwhelmed by calls, mainly from opposition. Almost all opposition parties reached out to me that I should stand on their ticket. But I think for me, I only had two choices: either to go on the PF or to go as an independent. But then I think I lacked a different voice to come and advise me that let's go as an independent. So I just made a decision on my own that okay, maybe let this one pass, and then I wait for 2026. But like I said, I'm a firm believer of loyalty, and that even building the businesses that I've built is because of the loyal employees that have been with me thick and thin. You know, in business there's lows and highs. So even in politics, you find that I still believe that sometimes things might not go on your way, but if you still have your people that that are loyal to you, you can still build up from there and put up a good fight.
Yeah. What was so hard about you choosing a different political party and looking at your political career? I think it's about you going for a party that will help you thrive career-wise. But then you had so much hope in the Patriotic Front that you couldn't even go independent. Why was that?
Yeah, like I'll keep referring back to loyalty. It's not necessarily that so much in the PF. I started politics in PF, and I thought obviously to remain consistent, you know, because I know that consistency builds character and character builds confidence in the people. So I didn't want from the PF I jump to another political party. Then if that political party doesn't do well, how will people look at me? They'll just look at me that I'm just interested in wanting to go to parliament.
Life is about risks, Mr. Chin.
Yeah, I know that, yes. But consistency also very, very important, that we remain consistent. I can give you a reference of also business. When you're consistent in what you're doing in business, people will go after a year, they still find you are doing the same thing. They will build that confidence in you that indeed, I think he knows what he's doing. So even me, I've been consistent on Monali, and I'll still remain in Monali and wanting to save the people of Monali. So my desire is to save the people of Monali. So other people appealed to me that, wow, you're not in Lusaka, you can even go to Kabwata. But my consistency and my desire is to save the people of Monali. I cannot go anywhere. So even a party I know that the parties, they've come and gone. But I'll remain in Monali and until I save the people of Monali.
Are you still going to see you under the
Patriotic Front?
No, not necessarily. Like I said, 2026, it will tell us, it will show us how we are going to do. Particularly PF is going through the rebranding process at the moment. So we don't know what will happen after the convention, particularly after the convention, because will the people accept the new leader that will take up the PF? Will the people accept the conditions that will come with the new leader? You know, so the rebranding process is something that is difficult. But obviously after the convention, we'll determine how we are going to do it. But like I said, 2026, whether party or no party, my name will be on the ballot.
Who are you loyal to? Is it the political party or the person heading
or
that
the
people? Or the people?
Or the people,
you know?
Yeah, Mr. Chief.
Yes, because you speak so highly of loyalty.
No, when you join a political party, you have to be loyal to the political party. You join the political party.
So it shouldn't change when the leader changes?
It shouldn't, obviously, it shouldn't. I believed in the political party. I still believe in the PF because of I'm a person who has gone through personal development, and at whatever cost, I would want to see my country, Zambia, develop, or particularly my community or my constituency, Munali, develop as well. So I was very, very impressed when I saw that we were on the developmental trajectory, where roads like the Camnet Road, the Arikinkata Road, the Greatest Road, changing the flyover bridges. So for me, I was very impressed. I said, this is what we need to support. When you go to these other countries, what we admire from there is the road network. And road networks brings in any investment. Where we are, like where I am at Chris Moore Lodge there, when I was building that place, it was literally a bush, and people were shunning that place because it was a bush. But immediately the road was built, a lot of development. When you go there, there will be no need for you to go even to town. We give that courtesy to the PF. When you are coming from Charleston, you want to go to Chamba Valley. Those days, you have to go through Greatest Road, you join into Counter Square, and then you connect to Chamba Valley. But now, you can connect from Charleston direct to Chamba Valley. So it saves time, that you spend on the road. To me, that is what I supported. So any party, if at all even UPND embarks on that trajectory of wanting to develop the country in that manner, creating more roads, opening up the country, I would support it. But if their ideology or their plans is something else, I will not support it, because I want to develop Munali constituency as well. In Mtendere East, they want the police station, they want the schools. We, together with the church, the Catholic Church in Mtendere East or Kalikiriki, we joined hands and built 1x2 classroom block. Why? It's because we don't have a government school there. We wanted to mobilize also the community so that we can maybe even do a community police post. I'm sure that plan is still on. We'll do that after some time. Or that if there's a government that is supporting you in that, why can't you support that government? So that is why I supported the PF. So it's not, my loyalty is not to a person. My loyalty is to a political party. And I still remain active in Munali. And any political party that will come with those ideas like that, I will support it.
Talking about the UPND administration, obviously they've been 7 months into office. Is there hope of Munali being developed, looking at the things that you were pointing out? You were flat out on the ground and you know the challenges in and out.
At the moment, we are not seeing anything tangible yet. I'm only happy to say that the Millennium Challenge, the water and sanitation project is still ongoing. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy because I met the contractor in Mtendere East. Right now, just yesterday, they were at Niza, near Mtendere, the boundary between Mtendere East and Mtendere, PHI there. So I'm happy that that project must continue. It started under PF and it has continued. For me, this project is a solution to the water problems that has engulfed the constituency for a long time. It's a 45 years. We grew up in Mtendere, and that water problem was there until now, 45 years ago. So when we see a solution like that, where our people were told to build flushable toilets, and we helped out in the community to build those flushable toilets, and the project is still ongoing, I think we'll be very happy as the people of Munali. So such projects, I would support such projects. But any other project, I haven't seen any. CDF, they are telling our people to form cooperatives. I don't know how those cooperatives will work, because you see, let's say I'm a carpenter. I join a cooperative where you have a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber, and, different trades in one cooperative. How is that going to work? So I'm yet to see if that cooperative will really work. Otherwise, we are yet to see. We haven't seen anything. Are you
suggesting that a cooperative should be comprised of members doing the same thing?
Yeah, I think that way it would work out. If I have a skill of a plumber, and then I join hands with other plumbers, obviously our goal will be the same. We would want to do the same. We would want to put up a project, and in that project we can recruit maybe the young people and other people that are interested in doing that. Then it becomes like it's a trade, it's a school where you're training other people that are coming. Meantime, you're making money in doing that. But if you put different skills in one as a cooperative, just because you stay in the same locality, then it becomes a problem. And I've seen that this is what is happening. So we are yet to see how CDF will be used, and if at all those cooperatives are empowered, and how they are going to work. But at the moment, I would want to say it's a wait and see situation.
Let's talk about Munali constituency. Yeah. Are we imposing things on the people, or we are making people make decisions and get involved?
Well, what the government has said is that they've told people that the CDF has come and the CDF has been increased. I don't have a problem with the CDF being increased, but I only have a problem with increasing the CDF and attaching a lot of responsibilities to the CDF. That's where I have a problem, because, look, A CDF was supplementary, like a supplementary budget to the MP, where the government under the Ministry of Education will go in and build schools and teacher houses. Maybe the Ministry of Home Affairs will go in and build a school and also some houses for the police. Now all that has been attached to the CDF. So how much, what about the central government? What is their responsibility? Are we running away from the responsibilities? Because if they had increased the CDF and said, oh, okay, this one will mainly supplement what you, the constituency, want to do, but the government, the line ministries will continue doing their own responsibilities, then that way it would work out. But if you ask the cooperative to say, you form a cooperative so that you start building the teachers' houses. What expertise do those cooperatives has to build
But you just mentioned that they need to be grouped as bricklayers or plumbers. So
yeah,
if
it is like that, because at the moment, it's just a call that form cooperatives. There's no specification to say if you are bricklayers, come up with a cooperative. There's nothing like that. It's just a call that you form cooperative. So obviously what we expect there is that ngati timvera na che iwe na iwe then tizapanga che cooperative and then tamba tatengana ndarama zezija then unaona. So there's no proper streamlining to say abani maplamba abani machani bapanga pamoja. So it's ngati in I have my interest elsewhere, you have your interest elsewhere, and then tapeza chati nga opportunity tingapanga ko nyumba. But what kind of a house are we going to build? Then we're going to outsource. It's a plumber. It is only a plumber. It's a cooperative. Then it's a change.
Okay, so Mr. Kinga, very interesting thoughts there. Yeah. You are a community leader, and you've spoken so much about these cooperatives. You clearly, a lot of people don't understand, including community members out there. How much are you doing to sensitize them? You are a community leader. Your issue is for the constituency to develop with being in power or not, having the authority or not.
Yeah, so my duty as a community leader, of course, not necessarily to intervene in the cooperatives. I want to see how the cooperatives will work. To
tell the people, form cooperatives, this and that. Educate them.
Providing guidance to young people. To say, you have to always associate with someone who's doing something. Yeah, I remember you actually doing that.
And I still do that. I still do that. Me, my job is to reach out to the young people. When I'm addressing the young people, I tell them, you need to have a skill. You need to have a skill. You don't need to go to a trade school to go and learn. Associate yourself with the people that are doing those skills that you're interested in. And freely that skill will come to you. At the moment, we have an MP in Monadi. He has his duty to sensitize and to reach out to those cooperatives. But for me as a community, an overall community, I just need to reach out to the young people and encourage them to have those skills so that they can survive wherever they are. So if at all they join those cooperatives and they have a skill, obviously they'll add value, but when you have a skill is personal. You can go to Livingstone, you can still survive on that skill. You can go anywhere in Kitwe, you can still make money using your skill that you have. And that is we call it life survival skills or survival skills, because it will empower you. It will be a mark of you starting your own business. So that maybe when you have that skill, you employ young people, then you can seek for an empowerment, which can when that empowerment is given to you, you can enhance and grow your business. This is what we reach out. And also, just in the community, we are also reaching out to our community that the garbage is one of the biggest problems that we have in our community, that we don't take care of our garbage that we are producing on our own. People throw garbage anyhow. And for me as a community leader, these are some of the things that I'm reaching out to the people, that, care must start from our homes, where you produce garbage. You don't go and throw it parod papapita bantu bambiri. Then wina ngo muntu aganza soche na eva gandotaira parod paja izangara ni mabini bambiri. Then mai kuzambo ngara manje boma yanganepo. It's us to see what we can do for Boma, not Boma and Ganepo all the time. And this is our message to our community. This is how we are supposed to be living. And that is not political.
And Mr. Chinda, then do you think that the same beings are providing an opportunity for youth to organize themselves and form a recycling company or cooperative, or some they can be collecting beans, or let me say a CBE that can be contracted under the Lusaka City Council?
A CBE registered to City Council. And the Ajama recycling, you need to have also a company that buys those things. You see, so, but for now, I think it's on a household level where we need to take care of the garbage that we are producing in that particular home, and another house like that. And also, when you are living near the road, you have the responsibility. We are reminding our people that you have the responsibility to clean up to the road and make sure that there's no litter there on your yard. Another household like that, so that the entire community is clean. We want to create a very admirable environment in Munali constituency, so that bantu wakapita moche munga vijavete novela kuchingola. No, the cleanest town in Zambia is Chingola. So we also want to see that Munali is one of the admirable residential area, so that people can go, if they wafunaenda ku Christmas, there's a good business environment. They want to go kuja ku Kalingalinga, there's a good business environment. Banawa Pangira Road kuja kwa Nkata. So mna drainages yaribu yaja, so we don't need to throw anyhow things in that drainage.
If we talk about citizens' participation, it remains something that people don't see responsibility over in terms of feeling part and parcel of the development of the country. Our institutions, let's say local authorities, functioning properly to ensure that there's that cordial relation with the people on the ground and understanding what government policies are, or understanding or just creating awareness. Is that connection with local authorities, with the ground?
Yeah, there should be. There should be a connection with the people, because the authorities are supposed to work with the people on the ground. Not change. Itimaona manje yakutati vacancy. You see, they start closing up their shops. But I think the authorities also need to create that enabling environment with the people. Oh guys, what you need to do. Some of our people, they just lack information. What they're supposed to do, how to operate a business. So they really need to mind friendly, shop. This is what you're supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to have a trading license, you're supposed to have this. Because even to get a liquor license, to get a trading license is something that is a process that is very tedious and a process that is very expensive. But when that information is given to our people, I think there will be that environment, working environment with the people, and there will be no need for them to be sending council police to go and grab whatever little those people are selling in their shops. So it's important that that relationship is created with the people and the authorities. Manje hapa eti maona ni yakutati yabwera chichi moto cha council parking ache kuja bambago jumpa jama guys, then away from my shops here bambago zivalira my shops. That shouldn't continue. For me as a community leader, I'm very, very concerned that that environment should not happen, because I've seen when I go mukuyo pache kwe kuja bazichita in the process. So that it shouldn't be there. I've seen in almost all markets. I live in Munali, and I do my businesses in Munali. I spend 99% of my time in the Munali constituency. It's rare that I even go to town, because phone set inavo mjamu Munali. Ngati nifuna macucumber ndo kumtendere ndo gula cucumber. Ngati nifuna ma vegetables kandolo chan. Phone sininde cheko kuja kumtendere, because ilichemonga ni kusoweto na kwevu. So it's just the environment, the good environment that we need to create. So we need to close up that gap between the authorities and the traders.
Interesting. One of the things that was trending in Munari constituency was the Kamanga police station.
Yes.
And you also undertook some cleaning, also seeking that the police should be opened. I don't know the current status. How is the security situation? Because our news crew has been covering stories pertaining to security. People have been raising concern regarding the Kamanga police post. And it was also closed due to also riotous behavior. And just your thoughts on that, and what should we do? What should be the way forward concerning the security situation there?
Eventually, Parangina chema politics, but what we had started was that after the protests that led into stoning of the police post, I engaged the community there. We came together and we even started sweeping, and we also repaired some window panes. Then later on, a natural disaster just came. And the DMMU came on board and they took over and say, no, it's to be now our responsibility that the district commissioner then came and took up the responsibility to say, no, this is now under our responsibility. So there's no need for you now to start doing these personal efforts. When we start building, maybe you can contribute what you can. So that never took off. So what happened there is that people, even now, the people have been complaining that we need security. But again, in an school, attending Kudebzi, when the Minister of Education, they will give you the authority from there. Then you could no, it's a trip better, and then you police, because that is the police falls under them. So go and ask. I went there, but it was all a process that was just going round and round. But at the end of the day, I think the community is still yearning to have the police, the security secured in their place there. Majanki, apakisa mu kukamanga kuja. I have also been reaching out, but I go there and reach out to them. You see, what happens is that one thing that I realize is that these our young people, when they leave home, there's no one reaching out to them. So as a person, influence and then you want to community. They
lose hope.
Yes. So now if the man to survive, they need to continue keeping themselves in that state. They need to go out there and attack people and get whatever they can get. So I reached out to Kulima Jank Mujamkamanga. I went to Kaunda Square. I was also in Kalikiriki. I was also in Mtendere, reaching out to them because there's no leader that has reached out to those people like I have done. And sometimes when I go like kuja Kaunda Square pasabasaba pachika naona chechi jank chimoza boss wabaiche ni shivabwera until I give them something. But at the end of the day, we need to realize that those young people are growing up. They need to be responsible citizens in the community and contribute. They need to marry. Futka ile amene yakutatiza na bakazi bambiri bali single. Meantime bafana kuja wankala majanka and then wakola irresponsibly. So it combat bakazi bambiri batangana bakazi bambiri meantime nishimamuna wankala majanka kuja wakola
complaining Mr. Jinda.
No. But kairi ufunika na wafana na hivyo ndio muda wankala responsible so that they can close up that gap. So we need to reach out to those young people. We tried to do that and we continue trying. Others are reforming, they're coming back to society, but others are still there. But we need to continue doing that. Kumatero, I think on my Facebook page I shared, because that is the story of my interest. They killed a 43-year-old man in Matero, Majanks. It was confirmed by the police. So to me, I'm very worried when I hear such news like that. So even in Monali, we need to reach out, and I'll continue reaching out kuri Majanki. Kumtendere kuja pajapadi Zambi, kwenda down kuja. Wama itanako atikwa bulls. Ndekupezi kama Majanki kuja kuside. But those guys, they are good citizens, but we need to reach out to them so that they come and then they start coming back to society.
Good citizens, Mr. Chinda. You know, this is the same phrase that some of the PF members that we had interviewed prior to the elections were calling their cadres. Patrick, you remember?
Yes. To
say our cadres are good citizens, but you know they ended up making other people's lives miserable.
The same citizens.
Are you entertaining them? Because really, this handout syndrome, you clearly mentioned to say when they see me, they get excited. I give them one or two things, and then it's done. What is the lasting solution to this? Because really, they'll end up eating you because you're feeding them.
Yeah, it's not like an everyday thing. It's a message that I take to them. It's particularly the message that I take to them, that you need to remember that today you are 18 years. Next year you'll be 19. The other year you'll be 20. And you cannot continue this. Others were agreeing with me. And like I said, I'm happy to say that some of them have left. They've come back to the community. They are now, others have even doing something in the market.
So what I think what I'm picking out is that it speaks to the fact that our society disintegration and breakdown of family values.
Yes.
So we see as us as families not taking responsibility.
Yes,
and they these people tend to feel they are on their own, and they isolate and they attack us. You see, because for abandoning them at the end of the day. Because even if you check, Sharon, the other discussion we had in this in these communities, access to mental health services is poor or literally nowhere to be found if you can't be rehabilitated. So it becomes a challenge, and those only probably, if you are well to do, you can be taken to a private institution where you can receive counseling services. But in these communities, mental health services are not easily accessible at the moment, especially at primary health care. So these are challenges that as a country we need to address. And that brings me to another question, Mr. Chinda, where the president was pointing out that there is a lot of substance and alcohol abuse in the country. But how, as a country, can we try to mitigate that so that people can be drinking responsibly?
Yeah, I think I want to agree with you that it's basically it's a family. These are family members that have gone in those areas. So I think as family also, this is why it is very important for the community to be united, because these are issues that we discuss. That you see, so that my parents, they are not supposed to be giving up on their children. I think we need to encourage. We know that we have a lot of financial stress at the moment, that you cannot provide everything that your children want at the moment. So what is important is just to realize the family values, that but these households, they have given up. You see, but I think it goes back to what the president said, that we need to reach out to the families and discuss these issues on a family level, so that we impact that responsibility on our families, that they should know. Because ujamwana akafera kwa mene kuja kuni majanki kuja mali rabwera stimu panyumba pao pamene paja, and then all the responsibilities. But which parent would want to see that mwana after 18 years then ankara janki eo kuja vashtika mintu abwerafa? No, all of us, what we wish for our children is that they need to take care of us. They need to grow up to be responsible adults and look after the family, so that the family name continues to grow.
Munali constituency, Mr. Chinda, has a member of parliament that seemingly resides also in Munali. How are you working with him to ensure that the constituency develops overall? That's what you really want, not necessarily that you can only do that when you're in authority.
Yeah, but also,
have you engaged him on any of those things? No.
What it is that if I was a member of parliament and I would want to do something in my community, I think I have to identify people I can work with.
Community leaders.
Yes, those that I can work with. So if I'm the member of parliament and then I don't want to reach out to those people, don't expect those people that will reach out to you. So I think it's a challenge to him.
Maybe he's waiting for you to reach out.
No. He can't wait for me. It's him to reach out to the people that he feels that will make his work to be easy. So I think it's a challenge that I'm throwing to him, that he's the one who's supposed to identify the community leaders, those ones that can make his job to be easy. For me, when I'm a member of parliament tomorrow, I'll need to see which people I've been working with and which people help me do these things, because you cannot develop a constituency on your own. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much influence you have, you cannot do it on your own. So you need to reach out to the people. Me, my door is open, and when I'm given, when he wants, we share ideas, we share some notes, I'll give him what is supposed to be done. And if he wants me to help on one way or another, I'll do that and help out, because it's our constituency. And my aim is to see that the people of Mutendere have roads, the people of Mutendere East have the police and the clinic, the people of Chainda, they have their own police post. That is what I want to see. So it's not something like I should now knocking on the door for someone to say, oh, okay, I want to work with you. Environment afuna cha obvious afuna che kudiamo che vamvuta.
Oh, you're just being opposition.
So
there are a lot of things stopping you from doing that.
Yeah, yes.
To the people of Mnali, Mr. Chinda, obviously you continue to be their community leader and an inspiration to many people. You've been on the ground, you've done a lot of works. As we conclude this interview, what should they expect from you?
I just want to assure the people of Mnali that we live together in Mnali. We know our challenges, we know how we live, and we know what we're supposed to do. So as Christine Chinda, as Chrismo, with you, and this time we have to hold hands together so that we can make a difference in 2026. I'm not going to disappoint you. There are a lot of things that we need to do in Mnali constituency. I can't do them alone, but we can do them together and develop Mnali constituency. Otherwise, the people of Mnali should believe in me. Thank you very much for you, the Camnet TV, for inviting me in this platform. Hopefully you will continue inviting me, and I'll keep talking to my people in Mnali constituency.
2026 it is, Patrick.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, interesting interview we've had. Just a recap of what we've had on the program today. We had, as usual, health talk as well as a morning boost, and we moved to our interviews with our first guest, Mr. Edgar Siakachoma, who helped us discuss issues pertaining to the construction sector. He is the president for the National Association for Medium and Small Scale Contractors, and we were joined by Mr. Crispin Chinda, a community leader based in Mnali constituency, and packing various challenges pertaining to that constituency. Sharon.
Indeed, thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimula. Good morning.